Okay, can I just say it's Friday the 13th? Every time I come back, I have some. Okay, I didn't record. So we're going to walk you through this. We have a pocket that's 9 by, and I'm so sorry, 9 by 5.5. Then you're going to score half inch, half inch, half inch. We're going to make our pocket. I mitered. Like I said, nothing recorded. It's Friday the 13th. That's the problem, not that I talk too much. So the pocket we're going to put down here at the bottom. Okay. Now a waterfall. So if you haven't made a waterfall, I'm going to have to refer you back to another video, but let me give you the sizes. 6 by 4 is your base piece. Each waterfall is 4 by 5 inches long, scored at ½ of an inch. Then you just put them down to make your waterfall. And we're going to be placing that on top of the pocket after we mat it. And I put a magnet on mine behind that first one, and then it landed on there. That's what's going to keep it down. So I am so sorry. You know, this started out like with a bang, a wonderful tutorial, and we're getting there. We've got, we have this page, we've got the back here in the back, and then we can decorate. And oh, in that video, I had also made one of my pocket tags. So let me give you really quick. The measurements to that are 11. And then I scored this one at 5, rounded the top corners, fold up the bottom, and it'll sit inside of our pocket. And then I looked down at the camera, and I'd seen that I did not hit the record button. I do have waterfalls in other albums. They're not, I promise, they're not hard. And if you're having trouble with it, just leave me a message and I will find it. Because you can also go to Ginger of My Sister Scrapper, and she does waterfall tutorials. I'm so sorry, but it is just very simple. It's just a simple waterfall. It just looks really cool when you decorate it, and I did round my corners. Okay. So now this comes out to be 5 inches, and it's our 8. So let's go ahead and get our matting. I want to go ahead and get this one all matted up. I'm trying to grab a hold of a piece of paper. Okay. So I'm going to use, this is what we used on the inside. No, that's going on the very back. I'm sorry. That's not what I'm looking for. It's one of those where you're like, oh my goodness, I need to get this video done. Okay, the green. Let's use the green 5, and I'm going to cut it down to 4 7/8. By a little short of 8 by 7/8 because I did cut the pocket a little short. Okay. I'm going to try something. And I can't promise it's going to work, but we're going to try this. So before I show you, like I said, I can't promise it will work. If it does, I will show you exactly how to cut this. So as you're making your pocket, now the first thing you want to do when you're trying to make something like this match, you need to go ahead and cut off. I just cut these both off because you know the border is not going to match up on both sides. There's no way to symmetrically get your paper that perfect cut you want it to match. And the main thing with this is I did not want like to cut somebody's face off, so we did really good. And it looks like I will be able to incorporate this. Awesome. Okay, so on your piece of paper, cut your side off first, okay? And then go ahead and put it in and cut your length. Because once you cut off this border and then you cut it in the middle, you know you're not going to have border on each side. And then it looks more symmetrical, and actually I like that. It looks really great because now we've brought in some of the paper dolls. Now on this sheet, and we'd been cutting it if you remember. So here, I'm going to cut off that bottom border. The top. I'll show it to you in just a moment. So that was the very top of the page. And it needs to be 8 7/8, just like your matting. And that's going to go down the middle. And it says a friend is the best possession. So let's go ahead and then we'll put the waterfall right on top of there. And I'm also missing the corners tonight. Either I go off the edges and really get the edges. Now, I hadn't been paying attention to being Friday the 13th, and then I just saw a funny ad real quick while I was putting it together, and it was a person, you know, that funny cat pulling its hair out saying, I was fine until you told me it was Friday the 13th, and I think that's what happened here. I was fine until I saw it was Friday the 13th. Now, another thing this border kind of brings in that page. Because, like, you know, we've been talking about, we don't have a lot to work with. So when we kind of pull everything together, even in these little borders and strips, it doesn't look so just, you know, how when it feels like you've run out of things to use. And it all starts looking the same. So this kind of gives us the flow. Let's put that in, because once we put our waterfall in, it gets in a little bit heavy. Just inking these edges again. Oh, and I only cut that to 5 inches. We don't have to have it in all the way. And I'm really pleased that we were able to size that so it brings in the theme of the paper, of the actual paper dolls. So I was wondering how to do that without fussy cutting them. And if you're a beginner, fussy cutting probably isn't what you want to do when you're just concentrating on making the pages. And especially with this video, it's been a challenge, I'm sure, for you, due to my errors. So this will go right on top of our little banner there. I'm going to grab my ruler once, get it down there. There we go. Push my ruler up to get it straight. Oh goodness, that came out of nowhere. I had having this problem before. Oh, it will work there. All right. That's Corte. I had a lot of problems, and then the other one didn't record, so. Which is probably a really good thing. Much better. Now my pages will be much better when we get these matted. So let's go ahead. And if you know what you want to mat it with, then you can go ahead and get that out and get it cut. Or you can wait until we have, and I'm just kind of getting pieces together, our pieces and parts together. And that's probably what I'll do too when we start matting everything else. Then we'll just mat it all together. So let's go ahead and we're going to do the back of our gatefold page 2. Let's cut our base sheet, which is the back of the men's dolls, and it's the normal 7 and 7/8 by 7 and 7/8, and then our trifold. So you'll cut your trifold base at 6 by 6 or 7 by 6. Then you need 2 more pieces that are 7 by 6.5. So 7 by 6 and 2 6.5 by 7s. Okay. So I want to make sure my corners are all down. We'll set our book aside. Let's go ahead and set our 6 by 7" piece to the side. And then our 7 by 6.5 inches, we want to score at 1/2 of an inch. This is the trifold. And it will also have a pocket on the side like we did with our fancy pop-up page, pull-out page. So this is going to go in a zigzag type fashion. And then it will go that way. Let's go ahead and miter those corners off so they'll hide nicely under our pattern paper. Now, I'm going to set these on top. Because if I go behind, you lose some length. So usually if I'm going to put it behind the paper instead of on top, I add like 1/8 of an inch to the length. Because you do lose a little bit when you wrap it. It doesn't always match your edge. Okay, now this one now will sit on top going this way. So basically you can open it like so, or you can open it like this way. Now, I'm going to take the whole thing folded, and that's what you can do with your crocodile. That's what's so nice about it. I am rounding off the whole thing. Now, when we put this down, so if you want it to open this way, you can, the orientation. So I think I will change it because I want my pocket back here more so on this closed edge. And I'm actually going to be matting this first. I don't want to mat it on the page, but I'm not ready to do that, but I'm going to show you. So it's going to sit right there, and then it's going to have that, it's just going to be a pocket. We're going to glue it on 3 sides so we can put the tags in there again. Then it can open this way, and mine will open this way. And that is that one. Now, the other option is you can put it down here just a little bit and have it where you put your tag at the top if you'd prefer. And I'm going to have mine at the side. There's that page. So let's just set that aside, and we can stick it inside of here. So we make our mats. Now our back, we want to cut our piece. This is matching, you know, what we already did. Now our cover, remember, is 8.5 by 8.5. So you do have to cut it to match the chipboard, not your page size now. So this is 8.5. And it looks like, yeah, I'm going to have to trim it down to 8 3/8 and maybe just a hair off this side. We'll just trim a little bit. Everything needs to close. We're good. Now I've already made 2. So this is what we're doing so that, but I'm remaking them, of course, but this way I can show you. You're going to have this really cute little booklet, 2 of them. These will be stationary down. Our envelopes are going to have magnets. And that's my cat. Oh, wait a minute. No, I changed it. I take that back. We're not doing the magnets. That's right. No, I did. Whoa, I need to shut up at that night. So anyway, we'll have the 2 pockets. Now you can put both your pockets down here in the photo mats, and I like that. So we're going to make 2 of these and 2 of these. I'll remake these so that those were just my samples. They turn out well, but let's mat the bottom here. And then in the pocket, all those cute little cut-aparts that are on the paper sheets that are left with all the stamps. There's some just little cute things like I see a kitty in a basket if you want to cut those out to put in your envelopes. The nice thing is when you do put pictures down, then you can grab one of those embellishments out and put it wherever you want. And if you're going to give it as a gift, then your recipient can take out like a postage stamp and put it there on the picture if they want to decorate the page a little more, if it's a gift. So if you have been watching the video to this point, congratulations. And that means I had good luck putting the video all back together because I had to piece apart where some things went. Videos didn't get saved, but like I said, everything's going good till tonight, Friday the 13th. All right, let's go ahead. Like I said, I'm going to, definitely have my 2 pockets here and have these 2 guys at the top. So let's get the measurements. We're coming into the home stretch. And I did write them down. Okay, our pockets are 9 5/8 by 3 1/2. You need 2 of those. So 2 9 5/8 long by 3 1/2 inch wide. And you're down to now where you have plenty of these scraps. Okay, let's go ahead and cut these little mats. So these are also 3 1/2, and they are 7 1/4 inch long. One. I said I'm down to 2. My pieces and parts. Okay, 3 1/2 inches long. Now, let's start with our pockets. We are going to score these at 2 1/4. No, 2 1/8. 2 1/4. 2 1/8, 2 1/4, and 6 1/4. So 2 1/8, 2 1/4, 6 1/4. Score these at 3 5/8. Okay, put those aside. We need to have another scrap. So the little tab that I cut is 1 1/4 inches wide by 3 1/2 inches long. You need 2 of those. Now we need to make our little gussets for our pocket. So I'm just going to grab another scrap. And I am going to be rounding off the corners. So let's go ahead and cut this 3 1/4 inches long. And I'm just going to put this right into the scoreboard. And don't need a lot. That's such a little pocket. Let's go 1/4. And 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. So yeah. Goodness. 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. So now I'm just going to put this in the cutter. And see this very last line? I'm putting that into, let me turn it. So we just need to put, there we go. This last line at 1/4 inch and cut. And it's just easier for me to score it on a bigger sheet, but you can just cut 1 inch if you want and score it 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. And I'm going to put this at 1/4, that last score line, and there we go. Oh, we need 4 of those. We need 2 for each side. 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. Quarter, 1/2, 3/4. And once again, I'm just going to put that last score line at 1/4 inch. Cut. Last score line at 1/4 inch. And cut. So I just fold it in half first on that middle line. Fold back. And then fold back, just so you get that M shape. Fold in half and back. I'm just folding in half in that middle line. Fold up and back. All right, let's grab our pockets first. Furnish those score lines. And around these corners. When you open it. Now, if you want, you can even cut that down a little shorter, and you don't also have to make these a pocket. This is one thing I was debating. Did I want to leave it as a fold down for pictures? So I'm still kind of torn on that, but if you choose to make a pocket, you're going to put your little pieces here on the side to make your pocket. Then you just adhere them, well, bring the closed edge out. Add your art glue to the top and back. Set it in there so that the scored nice finished edge is on the edge. And then you just glue that into place. So I think I'm going to make 1 pocket and 1 fold down. So I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. Now, I'm turning it over. See this closed end edges, those nice edges. I just like to set them on the inside a little bit away from the edge because it never fails when I put them right on the edge. I end up having them like show, and I don't care for that. And again, we'll add our art glue. Yeah, that sits in there. A little bit camouflage, a little bit nicer, hidden. Now, I'm only going to use my small magnets for this one. There's number one. So number two, and I'm not going to do as a as a pocket. I want to do it as a photo mat, basically. But it will look like the pocket. You won't even know the difference. So one, I'll be able to put things in, but I'm thinking it'd be nice to have for photos. Now on this one, I'm going to go ahead and round my inside corners also. Then I can have pictures and pictures. Crisp. And I still want to use the magnet to close it. But see, they look the same. All right. So I won't throw those away. I know I can use them. Our two little tabs. All we want to do with these guys is to fold them in half. Score them in half. And 1 3/4 will work. Oh, 1 3/4. No, we need that little. You're going to go so actually you need to do 1 5/8 and 1 3/4. So 1 5/8 and 1 3/4. Push back, you'll get it. Let's round our edges. If you would like. And just score these guys. Oh, how did that happen? Good thing I have another one made. We'll just grab that one, my sample. I scored it wrong. Yep, they're the same size. So I scored this one at 3 5/8. Okay, now I didn't score that one correctly. I know. big surprise, right? So to that, you've got the 2 score lines because you need that little gusset. And we're going to just center it. I'm not going to worry about finding a center because this is so little. Just making sure. We'll use a small magnet there. We'll kind of start out right here. Oops. But we do want them to be pretty much the same. Before I push that down. Check the inside to make sure we're straight. Small magnets. And those little tabs. And one more. So we'll get our magnets put on. Okay, the last page. So we've got these made, got my little magnets on. Now I want to place them down. So the one that opens is going to go on the bottom. So I'm going to start here with my first little, just little folder, photo mat. And on this, you can place it anywhere you like. And I love using, lines to do my placement because things go on straight. All right, so there's our first one. This one's the pocket. Hey, all in all, I know we're getting to the end. We just have matting. We have some little pockets and tags to make. And I want to say thank you for going through this video. Because like I said, if you've made it this far, you're a trooper for putting up with me. And I know, quit whispering. My voice is going low tonight. I'm so sorry about our mistake. But we did it, and I think it's very cute. So this is the reason we put our little things kitty corner, because these are longer, and it gives some dimension, and I like it. And it kind of has that old feel of this whole paper, so I think this really fits the theme. I'm just going to sit that corner down. Sharpen that crease. And there we go. So let's go back now through our book. So it goes down, down, down. No, I do it backwards every time. That goes down, down, and down. All right. So you can see it filled out really nice when we get our the rest of the stuff on. So now you can just kind of take this time, play with your album a little bit. We'll get our kind of regroup, get my area cleaned up. We've got this mat. This one's done. Oh, why don't we, before we take off, got our, just checking that everything's done. Everything's done. So now let's go ahead. We want to make our mats. We need 4 of them if you'd like. Now, like I said, I'm down to probably my last 3 pieces of paper, but I did waste some. I'm going to have to open a new pack and take out 4 more for my mats. So you may have to also. Now I'm going to cut these at 8 1/4 long, because you need 1 for each. 8 1/4 long by 7 3/4 wide to start. If you want a decorative border on the edge, you'll want to cut them just probably at 8 1/2. Now, here's what else you can do. Say you don't want to put a mat in here, then you can just glue these shut. So you don't have to add these big photo mats. I'm going to check the size, because I do not like mine tight by any means. That's too tight, so I'm going to cut it down to 7 5/8. I like them to glide in there freely. Now, another thing, when you do a mat this big, you've got to consider it's going to take a sheet of paper for each one, unless you leave it plain and just do it for pictures. Okay, now that would give me room to do my decorative edge. And you do have, with your 3 sheets of each, you have enough to mat these. So let's go ahead at 8 1/4, and let me do this edge, and let's see if I actually need to cut this off anymore. It's 8 1/4 by 7 5/8. I'm going to cut that. Maybe not. Carefully. This one is a touchy little punch. Very touchy. We'll be using that for something else. Yeah, this is my messy little punch. Okay. Let's check things out to see. No, I really do. I do like it. So let me go ahead and cut the others. And my thoughts are, I have to cut one more. If we're going to go through all this trouble, let's just finish her up. So I am glad. I had popular census say, please don't do 10 by 10. And with this paper line, yes, I think we would have regretted. So thank you for those who have voted for 8 by 8. I definitely think for this one it's big enough. And I'll do that. Won't worry about the last one I messed up. I'll do another one off the camera. This is a pretty little punch, and actually I just got it not too long ago, one of the bigger Joann's in our area. You know, they've been clearancing it for years, and it was actually marked down to even more, so I grabbed it. Now, one thing, if I decide that that's too long, I can just cut it from the bottom. And it'll all depend on how our pages close, because I don't want to mess them up at all. I do like them sticking out. So let's see. I think we're going to be a-okay. Cut one more, and then I will call that done. And I won't have to remake the mess of this punch. Yeah, and that, you can go ahead and mat that. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what I will be matting that little trifold in. It will just be, you know, the cardstock that's left. So it just depends on the look you want. I really want to go through and see what we haven't used. But just remember, if you want to leave this way, because I want this finished edge, will be a pocket, or you can have one at the top. So, or you don't have to have any at all. So whatever you choose, though, make sure you only, if you do 3 sides, if you're going to make a pocket with it. And then after you mat it, just add your adhesive to the whole back and put it down where you'd like in the book. And that will be our album. Let me just set it there for right now. Except for we'll get some matting finished. And you've got yourself a fun little, oh, see, that's what I was afraid of. That might be a problem. Let's cut this one down. So definitely let's might have to cut. Oh, that's cute, right to the edge like that. Let's double check things again. Oh, they're all gonna, yeah, none of these will work. So now we know when you go to close your album. So go ahead and cut these down where you need to. And you can even go ahead and mat these if you like, and we'll be back. Before we do the inside matting, let's go and get our cover worked on. Now the cover will need to be matted, but we're going to make the little shaker closer first. And what I have done is I did choose what I'm going to be putting on the cover, because I'm going to want to double mat my sticker sheets. You'll need the back, and so my front's going to be green, and I'm going to mat behind there with some red. So I'll have this just a little bit of a red border, but I did want to double mat. Then I'll have the green, and then this is going to be the shaker front, and it will have, we'll have the magnets back here. And I want to teach you how to make these because they're really fun. And this one was just my sample, so I'm actually going to be doing the paper a little different because I put them on backwards. A couple of things you need. You need some acrylic, the plastic sheets. And every time I touch my bag of acrylic plastic sheets, they disappear because it's like invisible and you can't see them, and then I lose them. And okay, we need to do something different with the packaging. These are our 4x6 sheets that we sell at Country Craft Creations. They're just 4x6. We're actually looking for some bigger ones, but a lot of them come with this weird film, and it's very hard to get off. But you'll get a package of, I think there's 8 in here, so you get quite a few sheets. You can also just use packaging from your paper materials. Then you want 3 pieces of chipboard cut 5 by 7. So you want 3 pieces, and we're going to hand cut all this. One, we're just going to cover with paper, so we'll set that aside. Then you want maybe some glitter or something that you're going to put in the front. And you'll want 2 large magnets. And clothespins are very helpful because that's coming apart. I didn't clothespin it. I just did it quickly so I'd have your sample. Now you want to decide what's going to go on the inside. This inside was just one of the 4 by 6 cards, so you can cut your own. This one, though, that's going on the album, I want to have the flower front. A couple things you can do. I was thinking of cutting this down and maybe putting it over here at the side because I really like the postcard, but then I didn't want to cover it. So I'm just going to take one of the chipboard pieces, and actually I'm going to set it right there. And then put some glitter and different things in here. And it's a little, I just wanted it to be an old postcard. So that's the reason for this. So let's set that aside with your acrylic sheets. And this, like I said, is the one that I put on the inside of here. Then you'll want some glitter. I have some that we've used in many kits, and actually we get our glitter at Art Glitter in huge quantities, so we're looking at bringing more of it in. But right now you can just get your glitter Michaels or Joann's, and this is their Dazzler, so it's very, very sparkly and shiny and very chunky. One's chunky and one's not. Now to get started, you always want to determine the inside, and that's how I determine this. My cut, what I want on the front is 4 by 6. So I always take these an inch bigger, so it's 5 by 7 because we need an inch border. We're going to start with our first one, and you'll want your pencil, and you're going to want a ruler, something you can mark with. And don't worry about, you can even use a pen, this won't show. So we need to draw an inch around so that we can cut apart and make our center. So I just draw a line there, and I just keep going around. And again, your quilting ruler that you can pick up at Joann's from Fiskars is wonderful for this. Your markings are so easy to read. They last forever. Mine are actually, after a couple of years, starting to wear down because it's not like normal quilting when you craft. I get glue and all kinds of things on this and have to scrub it. So it's getting to be time for a new one, but I've tried some different ones. And there is also this one. I thought I liked it better. I don't. For me, it's got so many markings in that yellow and black. I just don't see it as well as I thought I would. Just like so. Now, you want 2 of them that are exactly the same. So let's go ahead and repeat. So what I'm doing is basically drawing an inch, no different than if I was scoring it, but I'm just drawing it all the way around. And when you do this, you'll want a very sharp blade. And I'm also having talking to Pam with our chipboard company. Well, she owns the Texas. I can never remember it. It's still, I woke up this morning in another forgetful day. Texas Studios, and she does the chipboard. So we're going to have her cut a bunch of frames so that we'll have them available in the store if you don't want to have to cut yours, and they'll be so perfect and straight. So I'm going to take off that blade because I want it very, very sharp. And this I'm just using because it's smaller and easier to handle. We're going to cut out this inside piece. The main thing is you go slow and don't try to get it all in one pass. That's when you drag and you end up eating the chipboard. and messing it up, and then you're not happy. Once you feel that it has gone all the way through, you can turn. Why am I going crooked there? Straighten this up. I'm gonna have to straighten up that little area. I don't know why it's being so resistant there. Poke a hole if you can. Sometimes I do have to change my blade once or twice while doing this. So it definitely will be nice to have some of these pre-cut for us, because it does take 2 of them to make the shaker, or foam tape. So there's a lot of different ways. This is just my favorite when I'm doing it for a cover, or also if I just want to do it as a, I've made shaker toys this way, and then you can put things in there for the kids to find. Let's make sure we got our corners. So now you can just put your blade in there. Just keep cutting until those corners give away. Don't force it out. You don't want it to be torn or anything, even though we cover this. You still want it to be nice. Now, anywhere like there that you maybe need to straighten up, and anywhere that you didn't get straightened up, your fingernail file. And this is messy, just like sanding wood. Just go along your edges. Like I said, this will be covered up, but it just makes for a nicer project. You start with everything even and clean. So I just clean up those corners, and anywhere that maybe, like here, we've got some sticking out. I don't really want to go in there and recut because I don't want to tear it up and mess it up. Kind of round it so we don't poke our paper. And there we go. Now I like to put it up to the one we're going to cut next. And make sure things look pretty straight, because if they're not, you can fix it now, which I need to do. Somehow I got off on this side, so I'm going to just redo the line. There we go. So I know to come up above just a hair. Now with this one, another trick you can do is just make sure you're sitting right on that line. So it's just like a minute amount smaller. Your sound's not broken, I promise. I'm just not speaking. I know. Unreal. So I want to get this really great the first time. Okay, I want to tell you, you can actually wrap these two together. I'll show you the difference, unless you want this look. And this is the look I want. Okay, so these two will go together. Oh, this is not matching. I'm going to be so upset. Oh, it'll be fine. One just needs to go on the back. When you wrap these two as one unit, you can do that, and it does save you time. Or if you do it like this, you get that layered look, kind of like sandwiched. So it's totally up to you. If you want to wrap them just as one unit together, you can, just so you know. But I like to have this frame sitting on top. So let's go ahead and get these guys covered. So my top one will have this. My bottom one will be just, actually this one. One thing I want to look at, oh, we need to clean up the edges on our second one. And I'm just cleaning them up, so I'm going to do it over the garbage can. And do it the exact same way that we just did before. Okay, now check your fit. We're not perfect. These weren't cut by machine, so you want to make sure that the one you are going to put on top is in the paper you want for your top one. We're humans, so things do get cut a little different. And also, let me see something. We may need to trim. I need to trim. Oh, goodness, I need to do some trimming. All right, changing the side, that's fine. So this is going to be my back one. I want the blue. Sorry, you don't have to do that. I'm just, after we put it on, we'll just do a little trimming. I've taken the tip off of my glue bottle. And I found with Graphic 45 and Art Glitter Glue, apparently seems to be a really nice fit. I have had no trouble with this cracking, and I've been doing a live class so that as long as you're using the art glue, or I don't know if it would work with others, it has been reacting really well to being folded over the edges and not cracking, as long as I wet it with the art glitter glue. So I've been very happy with that. I'm going to grab my little trimmer. And you really, if you want, you can cut this even shorter when you begin. I'm just going to trim a little because I knew I wouldn't have it on here perfectly straight. So I'm just taking off about 1/4 of an inch. I'm just going to go ahead now, just like when we wrapped our album cover. So I'm just folding this over. Don't use a bone folder. One of the things you don't want to do with Gravity 45 is really burnish it. So next what we're going to do is take off our corners again, just as if we were creating our album cover. Just cut that square out. The only thing different here, do not cut this corner, but cut there to it. See how I left it kind of square? That's what you want to do. Do not cut the corner. Set your scissors and bypass so that you do not make a hole there. Now, if you need a ruler for this, I suggest you use one because I never do it straight. Goodness, excuse me. So I'm going to put it down just like on the other side of that, corner to corner. Then you want to just draw a line from corner to corner. That's okay. I got outside the... Okay. That's what you don't want, is it to tear up your paper. Once you have that cut, corner to center and then corner to center. Or you can do it that way. Then you want about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. And we'll just now cut off those pointies. And if you have to go in on the side, you might have to just a little bit. So you don't want it to be too long. You don't want it to hang over the edge. But you need enough to wrap. It's a little bit long. I'm just going to go on the edge here with my bone folder. Don't use a sharp bone folder. Just gently push in. Make sure it's up there on the chipboard. Okay. Now, just like we did with our cover again, get the glue there on the edge. Where's my pen? My pen is usually right there on the magnet. And it's just really best to go slow with the cover when doing this frame. And I am a little more cautious because of the paper. Just work it over the edge and hold it until you know We've got good coverage over that edge. I have a little enamel dot stuck to the edge of my finger. Now on my bone folder. Amazing the things that come out. Now let's get rid of this nasty piece. There we go. Tell you, it's just nice to have that tip when you want to get down in the little holes there. Okay. So this is how this works. So on this little guy, on this frame, you have the picture back there. Then you'll have the acrylic. Then we put our things in, and then we're going to put the back on. So right now we're just going to go ahead and create these two frames. Okay, I'm going to grab my postcard. So I'm going to put it down first, and then we're going to wrap this. So that when this is down, then we'll put our glittery stuff inside of there. And after this frame is round, then we'll put our acrylic on there, and it will go down like so. Now I decided to leave my chipboard out because there's a possibility my frame, this is that area that I kind of messed up, and I decided to put this little chipboard on the outside, and that will cover up any imperfections. So you'll be able to use the buttons and different things like that. So let's go ahead. Whoops, acrylic. It's hard to see. I'm trying to keep that where I can see it. So on your postcard or whatever you're using, your cutout, and it can be the 4x6, it can be a little bit bigger, however you need to make it to fit in. Just go around your edge. Then you can turn it over and get your postcard in where you want it to be. Straighten it up. And then there's your picture. So we can turn this over now. And use this one. Start here at the bottom. So that has time to soften up around my chipboard. I'll put my glue along the edge there, just like we did our cover. Now that's also an extra seal around that edge. Don't anticipate any of our glitter getting out. Okay, so there is that frame. Now we can go to our next one. This is my cover. Oh no, that's not the cover. This is the cover. This is going to be for this piece. Okay, grab your frame. So I'm going to turn this over and repeat. Little trimming. All I'm doing is I'm using this edge as my guide. I kind of put it up to the chipboard. I'm going to do the ruler this time. So I'm just going to go from corner to center. I think I have better luck that way. With my corners and trying to go straight across because I never get them straight. Ever. Same thing is, you don't want it too long. You don't want it to come just about to the middle. You don't want it to go clear to the edge. You don't want a lot of bulk. Then you have to double your paper the other way. So let's go ahead and really does help if you just take a blunt bone folder. Remember, don't cut that corner off. You need that little piece of square for this one. It just makes it sit so much nicer on that corner of the frame. As long as you've got a little square on there, you're good. Started on the inside. Now don't be afraid to get some glue there on that chipboard edge. It really is helping with the turning of this paper, so I'm very happy. I'm really pushing against the chipboard. I don't want any spaces between the chipboard and the paper. I want it completely covered. Chipboard does tend to be porous, and it likes to really soak it up, so don't be afraid to use a little extra glue if you need. Let's check everything. Then your acrylic piece, and then we'll be filling this up, and this will go on top. Now for the acrylic, I like to use just my score tape, 1/4 inch. Putting it right on that very edge, but not where it will show. Just keep it on that. Kind of follow your chipboard if you can see any of it, where that edge is. It's here somewhere. I'll use this one. Instead of throwing my tools, I've been trying to put them back each time, especially during the tutorials, because it's really a pain when I have to start looking for them under mountainous piles of scraps. Okay, one thing, if you have glasses or a computer and you have a micro cloth, might just want to kind of wipe it off. So I like to visit my eye doctor, and I always ask for extra cloths because I keep them right down here for this purpose. Now it's hard to see, so make sure you're getting it on the edges. It should overlap just fine. Now we can go ahead and do the rest of our cover here. Yes, this one is a little time consuming. But well worth it, I think. This will help seal that acrylic in also, those edges. So I'm taking that cloth, just making sure it's nice and clean. I had some glue on my fingers. One thing I have found, you don't want to get your acrylic wet. It smears really bad. And it really doesn't clean up very nice. Okay. So now, oh yeah. And one thing, if you have wording, you want to make sure it's not upside down. And when you put it on, so this is where if you have, oh, that imperfection really doesn't show, but I really do like that chipboard piece. I do like it on the outside because it adds some more dimension. And then we'll probably just have some little flowers up here in the corner. So now let's cover the board. Now there's a couple of steps here. We're not attaching those together yet because we do want to we want to spill glue all over the place is what we want to do. And fling, oh, what a day. So down that goes. Oh, I wanted to show you something on the back. See, you have to cover this or you're going to poke holes. And this is what's going to be your base. So yes, if you're asking why do we have to put that on there, because we're not making the hole on the inside and covering it with paper. We're using it as the closure on the front, and we want a nice, sturdy, secure base. Good thing you guys aren't just at the table across from me at a retreat or something, because you would have just been hit with a lot of tools. All right, let's make sure that's down. And really, I was just getting a little over. I didn't need that much glue. You're probably thinking the same thing. But this doesn't even get seen, but there's a little overkill there. Okay, cut out your corners, like we do with our albums. I'm just going to angle, but when you angle, once again, keep away from those corners. Don't even try and, angle it down. Just keep them nice and square. See, I don't even cut the corner. I completely bypass it. I think maybe you can see it better on this side. See how it's kind of square? Now, if it happens to be too long, when you bend it over, just like I've, on the albums, you can do it the other way too. Making sure one's not longer than the other is all. Just kind of doing it a little beforehand. Now see, this isn't going to show, but I cut that corner off. Now look what happened. I had a hole. It's on the back, so I'm okay. You're not going to see this, but that's what will happen. That's why we don't want to cut those corners. I am going to need that one because we do want a little more glue when we go to put this together. The main thing is I'm wanting to get my glue along this cardstock and chipboard. When I go to turn it, it'll be a little bit softened there. So again, you want nice, crisp edges for this. And Graphic 45 kind of has a different texture and feel. I actually did a whole video on the reasons why a long time ago, about 2 years ago. And it has to do with the ink drying process where it's fast dried China. I mean, it's okay. It's where a lot of companies do print. It's just not the quality such as Authentique that you get here because they print locally just down the street. And you know the paper is dyed in layers that way, not just quick layer of ink, blow hot air, and that's why your paper is cracking, some of them, because the ink did not have time to soak in. So putting the glue on there is getting that soaking in process for us. So when we turn it, I'm finding it's working really great, even with Graphic 45, because I've tried water before, and it didn't do any good. I just damaged the paper. Now see how nice your edges are. So Art Glitter Glue has been a true crafter's delight, I'll tell you that, for me. But you can see the ink's coming off the paper. All right, let's go ahead and get a new cloth. And then we will clean this up and attach. Okay, we have all of our frames done now. This one will sit on top of here. This one will sit here. So this is the point of the area. Now you want to decide what's going in here. We're going to go ahead and attach this here. Now I'm going along the edges. In the center, do not add a lot of glue. So I'm just going to lightly add my adhesive. Again, this is another step-by-step where it's going to take just a little time. You set it upwards to make sure you've got it even. Clean up any adhesive and grab. Don't worry about it if you've got some messy corners. We're going to fix those. Plus, flowers. Flowers, flowers everywhere. So I'm going to add some clothespins. Clothespins are great. They don't mark. They're cheap. You can buy them 100 at a time. Trust me, I have, and I still do. I have more. They just disappear, you know, and then they break, and I have to replace them, and the grandkids get a hold of them. They're just a great crafter's tool. The main thing is we get this all sealed, and your art glue will dry clear, so that's always nice. We do have to do some holding. Okay, once you get it pretty good, this is where we can add, because now we have a nice solid back. Oh yeah, give that a couple of rubs. You can put little pearls, you can put little trinkets in here. And that already has kind of a pinkish. I'm just going to add a little of the pink. I don't want a lot. And then you can also see if you have, like there's a key. But one thing you have to make sure is that it will fit. So do you have any keys? I have this whole bucket of like charms, different items. So you can put inside of there, you could put little pearls, just anything that you like. Or you can put nothing at all. Don't worry about little imperfections because you're going to be able to cover it with flowers. Now, like I said, the main thing is you have to see, and it won't. Those are too chunky on this one. The only way to do it would be to add more foam tape and whatnot, and I don't want to. I don't want to build it up that much. Okay, in this one, so I've got just some little flower petals in there. And I'm going to grab them and do the same thing. These are just leftovers that we had from other kits. And you probably have some different things in your stash. So these are just some little gold flowers. We definitely want to, there we go, oops, stick with our flatter embellishments. Okay. And now with your art glue. Just going to go around that edge. Then I'm going to go around this edge a little bit so we get that all sealed. Alright, so I'm going to just do some manually, gently, using my scraper. So these plastic scrapers are great because they do have flex to them. The main thing is we get those corners. Okay, I'm going to just set this aside to dry. Now, we're going to cover the front of our book. One thing that would look really cute with this, and I wish I had more of these, so you can add corners to the front. Yeah. So we'll be adding some metal corners if you have them. Just go through your stash. You can add so many different things. You can even use these kind of corners. But we'll do that last. You want to make sure everything is nice and dry. We're going to just set that aside. And let's do our cover. Let's do the back first. And because there'll be so much when this lays flat, I only am going to mount the sides. You could put a chipboard or so. You don't want a lot because remember we got to kind of lay this flat. Whatever you put there is going to be getting pretty well smashed. So for the back, again, we're 8.5 by 8.5. I am double mounting the front. I'm not going to double mount the back. So I'm going to cut this 8 3/8 by 8.5. Because remember we had that 1/4 inch, and if you do 8.5 by 8 3/8 long, you'll get a nice perfect fit. And I will be putting either stickers, chipboards, something down here at the back. Mouse isn't going to help me there. Okay, I'm using the one without the tips. I do need just a hair more coverage. Concentrate on those edges. Now for our sides, they are going to be, I'm going to do 2 1/4 by 8 3/8. My cover, if you remember, I can get a fold of my cover. And have a little bit of red around the edge. The green isn't the right one. And then the shaker. So let me just make sure I'm happy with that look. Because if you're not happy with it, you can also go with more of the neutral behind. And that's what I want to do. I like that better. So our panel should be 4 inches by the 8 3/8. So let's remeasure. Yeah, I'm going to cut mine exactly at 4 by 8 3/8 for this matting piece. Okay, so that's going to be the back. So now we want to cut, and you do want to check the fit. You cut this one down just a hair. Okay, so for the top piece, this is all going to depend on how much of a border. If I cut it 8 inches, I have a 3/8 of an inch border. You may not want that much, but I'm going to cut mine 8 by, I am getting there, 8, okay, 8 inches long by 3 5/8 wide. Oh, what happened here? That's 8 3. Oh, the other one was just a little bit short. Oh, it looks okay. It just threw me off for some reason in the beginning. I don't know why. See, then that will go on the front. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go with the red. Way too much. Okay. Okay, we're not putting this down. We do have magnets that have to go on. But we are going to go ahead and put these two guys together. Okay. If we forget the magnets, then we're kind of screwed. That's all I can say. We don't want to forget our magnets. So I'll get the sides here in just a bit. So let's attach our top piece. Well, so for the sides, I want to see how it looks. I might be using more of that. I think I'll use maybe a blue stripe. Or maybe bring in that plaid if I have any left. So the sides you can kind of just do on your own and then decide. I'm not going to be putting anything on mine. So let's grab our, I'm going to be matting them. I just won't be putting like a lot of decoration on. We should be able to remove our clothespins now. Just check it if you feel there's any spot that needs a little extra. You are going to want large magnets. I'm going to have to open another package because you want 2 sets. Ah, it's reserve weekend out here. We usually don't have jets flying over us in the weekend, but it's really, really nice outside. So if you hear some airplanes, that's what we're hearing. The reserves are working this weekend. So there's my cover. Then after we get it on, we can do our little bit of decorating of different things. Let's bring our album. What we're doing right now is we want to just get the placement of our magnets. And as we add more in, it will bring our cover up. So if your cover's not coming completely up to meet right this moment, go ahead and get something back there that will maybe help push it up. Remember, we haven't finished matting inside. What am I hitting here? Just to give you some extra. Maybe too much. But do consider, you're going to be filling this. Okay. Now, one side is going to be attached. This side is not. This side will have our magnets. And you might even use 3 sets because of the weight. I caught them before they hit the floor. All right. Turn this over. This is where our magnets need to go. Oh, one thing I did not consider, hiding them on this side. We could have put them under there. That's all right. We have some really cute other ways to hide magnets if you want them hidden. Yeah, we could have put them underneath, sort of. This is somewhat of a learning experience with me. So this is kind of doing it together. We'll know next time on the placement a little better so they don't show. I know I've seen some projects, it's okay to let them show, it's just a personal preference. I prefer they don't show. So, after we get this placed, I think I'll go ahead and do another mat on top, and that's fine, we've got plenty of scraps. So let's get the backs off. Okay, make sure everything's nice and straight and to your liking. And put it down already. I know, I just don't want it to be wrong. All right, down it goes. Now, voila. Yeah, I don't want those to show. So we will add another matting piece just on this inside. And it'll be okay. It'll match our double matted theme here. Just remember, one of mine was just that, remember, hair short, smaller. There we go. We're going to stand up for this one. Concentrate on those corners. Okay, this was 5 by 7. So I'm going to cut another piece that's, let's see, perfect. So I just need to cut it down to try 6 7/8. Wow, couldn't get any more lucky than that, like it was meant to be, this piece. Actually, that looks like an extension Almost looks like an extension of the actual cover since we're using the same paper. And let's get these backing pieces off. And get our adhesive down. And just work around those magnets, making sure you've got those covered. So we're going to totally adhere the one side onto the book in just a moment. So you want to make sure we're all covered. Stephen, they can talk. It's okay. I'll share the hallway. Well, the hallway goes down to the kids' bedroom. So I always tell them you don't have to be super quiet. It's okay. My crafters know I have a life. And they're so awesome for grandkids. I mean, they don't interrupt when we're filming. So a little noise never hurt. Let's grab our book. Now I'm going to leave that one piece in there for stability. Okay, see, it should grab those magnets. Wow, that couldn't have turned out better if I planned it. Okay, find your mark, your visual. So my hand now will hold that, because this is where we need to adhere this down. So let's let that side, to get your cover where it's supposed to be. Let that side grab hold. See how that color comes off from the paper? That's what we talked about, the way it was manufactured. I'm going to get in there with my tool and just clean up those edges if any adhesive has come through. Okay. I want to hold this for a minute, so go ahead and hold it till you are secure, sure it's secure. See, this is going to come up naturally because we're going to be adding in some more stuff. I'm just going to set that inside there for a moment. Okay. Oh no, it's the glitter. I thought I got glue on there. Heart attack for just a moment. Okay, one thing that really goes with this line, and I'll be getting some more out, are the flowers that go with our Prima baby line. These ones have baby on them, so they were the ones I didn't use before, but like this one, absolutely. So I will be using some of the Prima flowers on this, and I think we're probably dry. So we have a few things to do. We've got inside matting, we have these pockets to do, and this matting. So what I am going to do so I get this video formatted and out is the finishing up on this is going to be the second video, because this video is like over 4 hours long, and I realize it's really long. So I'll let you know on that. I'm holding it up to make sure I've gotten it straight. Looks great. Due to the length of this video, let me show you what I did. We are going to decorate the cover, and I want to show you one other thing with your cover. Now, if you notice you're having a little bit of a flop side here, and that may happen, and it has to do with the weight. When you put more in, it will come up. But one thing you'll want to do is maybe put a couple of magnets underneath, and you can cover them. I actually did try it. It worked, but I took them off because I just didn't want them to show. But I would definitely put them up here and there, and that will help. And it has to do with the weight, but it's not bad. It's nothing that I can't live without. I'm just going to go through the matting with you really quick because, like I said, the length of the video. So I did cut all my mats. Everything has been cut, and basically it was just a matter of going through the scraps and picking. But there was one thing I wanted to show you. I did want to get in a little bit of the touches of these cover sheets. The back side is blue. There it is. So what I did, it'll be kind of a puzzling effect. And there's Billy. There's Dad. He'll be underneath there. So this can either go on your cover. Mine will sit down on the inside. But you can see how you can get some of the other sheets now together with this. Mine are actually going to be on the inside. And when you open the pages, they won't quite be all together, but you will be able to visualize and get that effect. And so I'll be putting them down. So instead of doing this all during a video, I figured this would be our best bet. Then we made our pocket piece, our folder. And again, I just used scraps to line the inside. And I am lining front, back, front, and back. On this, our floating page. So I did cut my 2 mats, the stripes, just to kind of break up. And then I'm using the floral red. And our mats. So the mats have been cut. Like I said, I still am undecided because there's not much paper left. And so I may just put a little bit of a decoration on them. I may leave them. I haven't decided. So I went ahead and cut my matting. So I'm going to be using blue and blue because there's so much of the green. And then I'll go blue and blue. And green will go on the inside on the back of my waterfalls. And just cut your matting 1/8 of an inch short all the way around. Then I will do a walkthrough when I'm all done of the decorating. There's not going to be a whole lot because of the way our pages fit. There was something here I wanted to show you too. So I wanted to sneak in again a little bit of this one. So there it is. Because I was getting tired of all the stripes. So as you can see, Tommy will come together there. But it gives us a little bit of some red variations, and you can even color these so the recipient could color. And then the inside will be just these back sides for pictures on our inside doors. And again, these are just 1/8 of an inch short all the way around. And let me bring you to this piece. Okay, so what I used here is this ribbon. I'll show you how we're going to attach it. This ribbon is sold in our store. Let me get up close. And it's a beautiful, like, nylon-y satin. So it does tie very nicely. Again, I wanted to get some variation here. So I did cut this. And these were 6 7/8 long by 5 7/8 wide. And mine's going to open this way. And then I just used that. And now I did it again with this one, just to get, like it says, a little color to it, just to break that up. So let me go ahead and tie this, and I'll show you how I'm going to mount this on. I've already put my score tape on the back. Like I said, this is such a lovely ribbon, and it ties so nice. It's a very lightweight nylon, and we sell it in quite a few different colors. We have more coming in, and I'll have to make that pretty again in a minute. But I'm just going to wad it up, get it out of the way. So the back side, here's all my score tape. I am going to add just a little bit of the art glue in the middle for extra holding power. I've already burnished it all down. The score tape will also hold down our ribbon. I thought this book's got enough magnets in it. We need a little ruffly stuff. And down that goes. Oh yeah, I need to open it up anyway so we can burnish the back down. And then I purposely used that blue, so it would be the dark blue on the lighter blue. Now right there, just check it. If you need to add a little bit of your art glue in there, it will hold down your ribbon. I mean, it still would hold. It's not going anywhere. But I won't tie that until it's settled down. But I thought that just really gave it some contrast. Then for the back, basically the same thing. Just cut your scraps, and you'll get your little 2" by 3 3/8. And then I just laid them all here because I went ahead and inked them, and I will just go through now and do the matting. No real pattern. Like I said, I will now go ahead and finish this tutorial and get it formatting so that you can get started, and then I'll do a walkthrough so you'll see the finished. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It's long, but I think you'll really like making the album. Oops, I might as well leave this up here. So, and then, oh, I did want to show you one. Oh, no, we want to do the cover. We're not going anywhere yet. Goodness gracious, we have to do our cover. Okay, so I want to show you real quick. So with a flower that I had used before, so I want to show you. When you get in here and start doing the extra matting, and if you do use like a flower embellishment, see, it pushes it right up. So it will definitely help to use some bulky embellishments in there, which I don't know if I might. We may have a flower on each one because it's really going to boost that cover up and really help it be sturdy. But I'll see when I get to that point. And we can go ahead and decorate though. So I had chosen these flowers, and I do have some of the leaves. some of the fern greenery. Just for a little bit of contrast back there. You don't really see it, it'll just poke out here and there in places. Now, if you don't want it on the frame, it can actually come up here on the edge of our frame, but I liked it on the frame. And then I have the buttons that were inside the package, and I did leave the centers. You can go ahead and tie some string or ribbon in there if you like. And I'm just going to put them here on the corner of the frame. There's also a red button if you'd rather use some red with it. And I still don't know what it is about this album. Every time I touch something or an embellishment that goes with it, I'm losing it. And I even put things in bags. There it is. Maybe some red. We'll change it up from the green. This little green piece, so I did want it green. It's just so I can write the date, for instance, right there. And then that is actually it. Oh no, I have one more that goes at the top, and it's this pink one. Let me pull it out. Yeah, I don't like that droopiness, so it's definitely going to have an embellishment there. So I'll just put that one right there. Maybe I'll turn it. And for that, I think I'll have a seam binding bow, and I'll attach everything with my hot glue, and that's our album. So thank you everybody for sticking through this tutorial with me, and it's long, and I can't wait to see yours when it's finished. Bye-bye everybody.